It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
All right, what is going on, good kind people? 411mania.com reporter and columnist Lee Sanders here. You're checking out an all-new The RCWR show covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. Since 2011, here we are for a early Tuesday afternoon of August 9th, 2022. Don't get used to this. I'm letting you guys know that right now. All right, so a little bit of a backstory. You know what? It would help if I officially, in the Discord, just hit that little start in the event so people know that the event has officially started. There you guys go. All right, so a little bit of a backstory here, right? So we go back to Monday. Less than 24 hours ago. I'm still trying to figure out if Better Call Saul has like 2 episodes remaining before the series finale. So I'm thinking the week of August 20-something, or if next week is supposed to be the series finale. So, you know, my ritual with the wifey, we're watching Better Call Saul. I'm always texting her about 15 minutes before the show comes on. Yo, where are you? You around the corner? She's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, okay, great. So we find out during one of the commercial breaks that next week is the series finale. So we're going, oh, shit, okay. And then we get hit with a doozy. We see Chris Hardwick during one of the commercial breaks from last night's show. Chris Hardwick is saying, hey, join me for a special Talking Saul. We're going to have Bob Odenkirk, Rhea Seehorn, Vince Gillian, and Peter Gould. We're like, oh, shit. Like, why aren't you doing this for the series finale if it's going to be next week? And then we start putting 2 and 2 together. We're going, okay, maybe everybody's schedule wasn't quite syncing up for next week. Like, okay, all right, it is what it is. I'm glad I did not skip out missing last night's episode because I can't stress this enough. This is not me overhyping the series. There are tons of fans that share the same sentiments that I do. What they did with last night's episode, I've seen a lot of shows in my time from beginning to end, and these days there's not that many shows that you can get me to sit down, watch with the promise you'll be into it. Promise you'll be hooked on every episode. And I gotta say, what they did with last night's episode, goddamn, for a black and white episode, and some of these black and white episodes that they've been doing this second half of the season, the way they've been telling the story, they're pretty much showing us what's going on with the Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman character in real time. And then usually they're doing a thing where if they're trying to tell an important story from the past, you'll see the past in color. So it's beautiful the way that they've been going about it and everything. But I got to say, since they've been doing these black and white episodes, this one episode particular, especially at the end, the way that they just blended color and black and white colliding in just one fucking frame. And it involved the great TV icon, Miss Carol Burnett herself. I got to tell you, I have never seen such a strong fucking setup for a series finale in quite some time. I would really need to sit down and just think about all the shows I've seen in history. I think what they did last night, it's got to be right up there in setting up the series finale for MASH, the TV series. So I'm pretty pumped for next week's show, to say the least. So yeah, I got stuck watching Talking Saul after that one post-show, basically, with Chris Hardwick and them, and that was pretty good. So next week, I'm not going to be doing a Monday show because, granted, it's going to be the series finale of Better Call Saul, and I'll actually be doing a post-show talking about that. So if you guys are going to be around Monday night, you happen to watch the episode, you want to talk about it, definitely you'll be able to come there. And then also some fun news for you guys. My good friend and Julian Cannon from the Wrestling Court, we're actually going to be hooking up to do a show talking about the whole series finale, the series overall, talking about the Breaking Bad universe as well, just overall. We're going to be doing that. I got to check the calendar, but I believe he said he was down for either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Just stay connected to me throughout social media, including the Discord and all that, and I'll keep you guys updated. But when I had hit him up last week, he was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Let's go. Originally, Jason Solomon from Solomon Monster Sounds Off, I tried, because I know he's a big fan of it. I had reached out to him and I said, dude, like, me and Julian, we're trying to, like, are you down? And his schedule, you guys know that check him out, support his shows as well. He's pretty much doing a show almost every single week now. So unfortunately, he really wasn't available. I tried. That would have been something. That would have been something to get the three of us to sit down, talk about the whole Breaking Bad universe, Better Call Saul universe. That would have been fucking badass. But I'm sure definitely somewhere down the road we'll definitely, because Jason's been trying to, because I've reached out to him and the feeling's been mutual. We've been trying to link up for a minute now, but it just seems like the timing, it's never right. It's never right. Just as he has a regular 9-to-5 gig, I've got not one but two jobs, right? And then on top of that, I got school, and then I'm doing all these voiceover projects and all that. But look, Julian, hey man, I can't ask for another wingman to go play off with, talking all things Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So that's going to be fun. So look forward to that. So hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Mine was pretty good. I'll talk more about my weekend on tonight's Wrestling with the Topics. Yes, still regularly scheduled. You guys are going to get your Tuesday night live Wrestling with the Topics fix. So if you're around, you see that I'm live later tonight, come hang out. Because typically I don't put the episode out. If you miss it live, you miss it live. That's how it goes. The episode doesn't get put out until Thursday night. And good listeners will tell you that's tuning in live right now. That Wrestling with the Topic show, it's always a good time. It's always a good time. So loads to get into on that episode. I'm looking forward to unleashing on the Batgirl cancellation news, all things considered, as we've got Urza Miller in the news once again. But anyway, speaking about Unleashed, nice way to open up the show. Did you guys see this bullshit that's going on with Kevin? I was about to say Kevin Castle and Brad Shepard, but no. Did you see the shit that's going on with Kevin Owens and Brad Shepard. Now, some of you guys may go, who is Brad Shepard? Who? And that's okay. That's okay. Brad Shepard is basically this guy that has been trying so hard to be this. At one point, he was trying hard to be a likable reporter. And then he kind of manifested into this poor man's version of Skip Bayless meets Howard Stern, where he's putting out these shit takes. I don't mean Dr. Brian Wright shit takes, not those kind of ha. I mean, he's going for this. So this is a good example. He fat shamed Kevin Owens in a tweet. Now, those of us that's been watching Kevin Owens for either quite a long time or we've been watching Kevin Owens for a couple of years, we've seen the great transformation he's been able to do with himself physically. We can all be in agreement that the Kevin Owens that's running around right now has lost more weight compared to 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago even, 5 years ago even. Dude is slimming down, okay? But you would swear that the Kevin Owens that's running around right now has got to be, and I can't believe I'm mentioning this, but I did watch it the other day. Some of you guys that were in the Discord were poking fun at me, but there was nothing else on the TV at the time. I could understand it if Kevin Owens was as big as Gwyneth Paltrow's character in Shallow Hal. Remember that with Jack Black? I could understand if Kevin Owens had maybe, allowed himself to get, right, but you're turning it on and you're going, wow, Kevin Owens, he's kind of thick, he's slightly husky, but obese, overweight. Not really. I don't know. I don't really know about that. I don't know if you want to go in that direction. Not really sure about that. So Brad Shepard had decided to lash out at Kevin Owens on social media, and this is what he had to say. When it was all said and done. And, and kudos to Kevin Owens for the way that he had handled this, because honestly, he was speaking the fucking gospel here. So this went down a handful hours ago where Brad Shepard had said, what a disgrace it is to see lazy, fat sack of shit Kevin Owens being presented like he's fucking Goldberg on Raw because he's Paul's boy. He looks like a prize eater, not a prize fighter. So obviously Brad is following up to a segment that played out on Monday's Raw, right? We'll mix in the talk of Raw headlines. You know how we usually do it, but Raw had a match where Kevin Owens, this was very random too. I mean, just out the clear blue. Kevin Owens had faced Ezekiel. And this was pretty much a squash match. If I remember, I'll rely on you guys to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the finish of the match, it had saw Kevin Owens just stomping a mud hole on Zeke's ass. And at one point, tossing him. It was either over the ropes or in between the ropes. Ezekiel had landed in storyline pretty funny on his head / neck, and pretty much Zeke wasn't able to continue. They had EMTs come out there, load him up on a little stretcher. Kevin Owens was just looking on, quite satisfied at what all had panned out. But at the same time, he kind of had that Jesse Ventura look going on his face, like, this is bullshit. I smell a conspiracy going on here, okay? It is what it is, right? So you're seeing the way that Zeke had made his exit, and automatically, as a fan, you're saying, well, how much more of a shelf life does this Ezekiel character have before you go, okay, we've tried everything that we've possibly could here. Maybe it's time for us to go in a different direction. I don't know. Maybe we need to go back to the Elias character, or, hey, we did talk about there being a third brother. Do we maybe go in that direction, right? So if you're looking at the storyline and, you're saying, okay, right? But it felt so random when you were seeing Kevin Owens just, because it wasn't that long ago that we saw Kevin Owens make his return, and he said, hey, as most of you guys know, you saw me for a period of time there where I was in a dark phase, where all I was thinking about, all I was obsessed with was Ezekiel. And I'm happy to say, after taking some time away and just, get myself in a position where I could think, spend time with the family. I'm in a much better place mentally. It's gone, past is the past. And yet a couple of weeks later, I believe under the new Triple H regime, there is a reason for the madness in the storytelling. And in some cases, this particular storyline that they're trying to tell, I'm hoping it's the return of Ezekiel. So there's your back context for those of you that did not watch Raw, right? So you go there. So obviously Brad Shepard is following up on, now as I've always said to you guys, I've been doing this since 2011. I've had opportunities either when I've wanted to or when I've gone out and made an opportunity happen for myself, for the show, for the listeners. Got people to come onto the show, special guests, interview, all that. The one thing that I've always been consistent in telling you guys over the years, when I have a problem with a wrestler, it's never personal. When I have a problem with a wrestler, I keep it always to what's going on with them in front of the camera. What's going on with the mic work, what's going on with the in-ring stuff, right? Whatever's going on with them behind the scenes, unless they make it public, or it's a case where you got a sunny situation, or you fill in the blanks, right? And then even even when we react to that unfortunate piece of news away from the camera, it's still constructive criticism when it's all said and done. Coming at somebody for the way they look. First of all, I didn't even think that with the way that they did Kevin Owens, I didn't look at that as a Goldberg situation. I looked at that more as, okay, obviously they've got something planned here for the Ezekiel character. Question is, what? We going back to Elias, or are we going to reintroduce the third brother? What's to be continued? That's how I looked at that, first of all. And that whatever's going on between these two, it will continue. Zeke, Elias, whatever the fuck name he's going to be calling himself, he's going to come back and tap that ass. So it's going to come back full circle as far as I'm concerned, right? But jumping out there, calling somebody all those names, that's a personal attack. That is a personal attack. And to those that say, hey, I agree with what he had said, okay, I need that same energy. Because when you have transgender groups that are coming at this dude saying, yo, man, what the fuck? How you gonna roll like that? And he's basically saying, good. You want to block me too? You don't want anything else to do with me? That's great. I fucking love it, right? That's not the kind of message that you want to be putting out there. You don't want to come off as, I need that same energy for also, couldn't help but look at some of his tweets. Taking jabs at Sasha Banks. Yeah, look, has Sasha Banks, speaking as somebody that is an artist, speaking as somebody that knows how to paint, draw pretty well, at one point, I dipped into a little bit of makeup. Shit, I still do a little bit of makeup as a makeup artist. I still do a little stuff, here and there and all that. Tams will tell you, sometimes she's a little bit surprised at just some of the stuff that I know and everything when it comes to makeup and all that. I've seen some of the stuff that's been said about Sasha Banks recently. She looks like a clown, It's like, is she putting on a little bit too much makeup? Is she putting on a little bit too much weave going on there? Yeah, especially because naturally she does have a beauty about her and all that. She naturally does have a beauty about her. She doesn't need all that caked up, but, hey, whatever. Do you, whatever makes you happy, right? But to see some of the comments that's out there by some of these fellas. And fellas, those that have been in enough relationships, know how sensitive a woman can be when it comes to her looks. Even if it's somebody that, is not obese, that's not overweight. Fellas, ladies, we know how our partners can be when it comes to them trying to look their best and everything. So you always want to try to be on your P's and Q's. But you really wouldn't know that with the way Brad Shepard had jumped out there and he was coming at fucking Sasha Banks, claiming she had plastic surgery. And I just go on the timeline and just read the shit yourself. It comes off very nauseating. It comes off very disgusting. Everything comes off as a personal attack. And look, I get the guy's game. I don't like it. I don't condone it, but I get the guy's game. His game is to be the shock jock. His game is to get people's attention, and whatever gets him trending, whatever gets him right down to the point. You saw the crap that had went down with Sean Ross Sapp and that Bill Bahati guy last week at C2E2. Did you think that maybe Brad had went on ahead and tried to see about interviewing Sean Ross to find out, hey, man, what the hell was going on? No. You know why? Because he doesn't like Sean Ross Sapp. He doesn't like the Sean Ross Sapps. He doesn't like the Dave Meltzers. He doesn't like the Mike Johnsons. He doesn't like the guys that have been busting their ass all these years. Say what you will, but he doesn't like those guys that's been jumping out there, busting their asses, piece by piece, building a really good reputation and everything, right? He doesn't like those guys. He doesn't like those guys because he wishes he had what they had. And so he lashes out in the best way that he knows humanly possible. But to my point, no, he didn't interview Sean Ross Sapp. Instead, he interviewed the Bill Bahati guy. So, that pretty much tells you, all. And I bet you the way that interview probably went down, he probably, shout out to those that even went out of their way to listen to that interview. I bet you Brad had took the opportunities to take a massive shit on Sean Ross Sapp. And then some. I have a feeling Bill said his, right, talk more of his fucking shit and it is what it is. But if that is you all's cup of tea, if you like drinking that, speaking of tea, I'm having tea right now on this nice Tuesday afternoon. God bless you. God bless you. Those of you that agree with what Brad had said about, God bless you. If your whole thing, if the way you go about critiquing a wrestler these days in 2022 is to basically come at them with personal attacks and you don't know them, God bless you. I don't care to know you, but God bless you if that's your cup of tea. I don't want to know you if that's how you're going to fucking roll. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on in these men and women's personal lives. Right? The only thing that we care about as fans at the end of the day is, well, they're in front of my camera and they're on my TV, so they're in front of the camera. They're here to entertain me. So, okay, all right, let's see what they can do. I've been watching Kevin Owens since that man was fucking Kevin fucking Steen. He was a big boy. And he has made great strides in getting down to the weight that he is right now. Now, I do agree with one other thing that Kevin Owens had said, because somebody had tagged him and told him what Brad had said. And he said, here's what one fan has said. Way to body sham someone. You should say that directly to Kevin Owens' face and see what happens. Kevin Owens came right back. He can't. I blocked the little bitch a long time ago. He never got over it. That's why he does this. If he met me in person, he'd kiss my ass and call me brother to try and feel like he's one of the boys. There's 100 like him out there. And that's the God's the honest truth. That's the God's the honest truth. I've seen enough of this social media game that's being played these days. It's nothing. What have I always said to you guys over the years? It's nothing but a bunch of motherfuckers that are big bad keyboard warriors that will talk a really good fucking game online. And then when it comes to being in person, face to face, they are the exact fucking opposite. I've told you guys that fucking repeatedly. Most of these guys, it's sad. Most of these guys, they have this persona, right? And my whole thing is, look, it's a simple philosophy too, which is, look, if you know you're not going to say that, act this way in person, then why put on that front? why not just be fucking you online and pretty much look what you're seeing? That's pretty much what you're going to get online, right? But this is the game that some people like to fucking play, and it's fucking unfortunate, you know, but I'm not going to hate on somebody because of their weight. God, where is this same energy for Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, Gorilla Monsoon, Abdullah the Butcher even? Where is the same energy? I mean, I just gave you guys some big boys there. I gave you guys some big boys. We hold these men in very high fucking regard. How come never we have come across a situation where these guys were body shamed? Right? I mean, if you got a problem, now look, if you are the type of wrestling fan, hey man, I like my men and women nice and fit. You know, they can have a little meat on their bones, but they got to look nice and thick. They got to look like they're fucking working out. Okay, and you're that type, yeah, you know what? Hey, I thought Harley Race was a great wrestler. I thought that blah, blah, blah was a great wrestler, but really felt they needed to lose some weight. Hey, if you're in that, okay, I respect that. I respect that. At least you're being consistent, right? At least you're being fucking consistent. It's weird. That's social media for you. That's why I don't fucking even dwell on that shit. I don't even get involved in that stupid shit as far as interacting when I see that shit goes down. Because I know the game that's being played, and I don't want no part of it. Look, if we ain't live tweeting or live reacting to something that we're seeing play out before our very eyes, giving a thought on a match or whatever, if it's got something to do with this level of negativity, I don't want no part of it. I'm sorry if that bores you guys. I'm sorry if that, what the fuck do you expect? I'm in my early 40s. My outlook, what probably would have been cool 20 fucking years ago. Yeah, fat piece of shit. Yeah, it's weird because even as long as I've been on the air, and I started this show in my early 30s. Even in my early 30s, I wasn't jumping out there the way some of these motherfuckers are jumping out there with social media and all that. And look, if that's what these people have to do to try to remain relevant, to get download subscriptions and subscribers and shit, God bless them. If this is the tactics that they're using to try to stay relevant, I don't like it. God bless them. But that's the game that they're playing. Whatever works for you. I just know in some form, everything always has a way of coming back to you, man. Right? Now, that doesn't mean you got to be scared to speak your truth. There is a way with words to speak your truth while also at the same time being a little classy about it. Right? Just putting a little bit of finesse to it. But if you're going to come off just being outright ignorant, sexist, homophobic, insert, oh, good God almighty. As far as opening up other doors of opportunity down the road, you could pretty much forget about that shit. Because social media, the footprints, motherfuckers finding shit from 10, 15, 20 fucking years ago. You feel me? Nah, it's all good. It's all good. So that's all I got to say about that Brad Shepard bullshit. And like I said, anybody that agrees with him, if you're looking at it the way I had said in the latter, kudos. If you're looking at it from a personal attack kind of standpoint, you're going, yeah, he is a fat piece of, do me a favor, disconnect, block me all throughout social media. I don't care to know you. Seriously, you should have gathered enough of me by now if you've been listening to me recently to know, he's let me just see myself out. Just see yourself out and that's not being directed to anybody. It's just, I ain't got time for the bullshit. I'm too old. I'm getting too old. It's like my tolerance for bullshit. It's just, one and done. My quota's now full. Thank you. Right? That's how it is. I deal with enough as it is on my plate. Let's talk a little bit more about Raw. So, I ended up watching Raw after Talking Saul was over, right? We'll mix it up. A little of this, a little of that. I see Dexter Lumis had made his return. That was a very bizarre way to make a return, but you know what? I'm all fine for it. It's kind of interesting the way that they had that planned out there. I love the alternate take that was shared on WWE's YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys had saw that, but for those of you that didn't, go on there, just type in Dexter Lumis WWE, and it should be the first video that you see. And the way that WWE had presented it, first of all, kudos to WWE. They didn't go all fucking ballistic on the camera cuts. They didn't have the commentators. They cut the commentators' audio off and everything. All you basically heard was the AJ Styles music. And you see the cameraman, he's just fixated on this one area, the way his camera is set up. And you see Dexter, you don't know who it is initially because they have the hood on and everything, and it looks like they're getting ready to brace themselves to jump over the wall barrier there. This is right after AJ Styles had won his main event match. I'm trying to think, who was in that main event match with him? The name escapes me right now. Can't quite remember. Was it Miz? Was it Miz that he faced? Miz, thank you, Eddie. It was Miz that he faced in the main event. Yeah, and then next thing you know, you just saw security on this guy. So the way WWE had did it, they did it in a way that really made you think that an actual fan was trying to do something, and God bless security for being right there at the right place, right time and everything. And then finally, when they took the hoodie off, you see, oh, Dexter, what? And then to have the commentator, see, this is how I knew that it was part of the show. When the commentators said on the initial TV feed, Dexter? Dexter Lumis. You're going, okay, cool, right? But then to see, I think honestly what they should have done, they should have gone with the cut that was on the YouTube channel where you didn't have the commentators. I think they should have went with that to close out Monday Night Raw. Don't even do the fucking WWE copyright logo at the end of Raw. Don't do none of that shit. Just go on ahead and just abruptly cut the feed. I think they should have went with that clip that was on YouTube instead of the way that they had closed out. But that's just me. Y'all can let me know what you think, but that's just me, how I felt on that one. So as we're seeing, contrary to how some folks are speculating, Vince Russo, I'm looking at you. Vince Russo, some people may be shocked to hear this. Two things. One, me and Vince Russo are actually Twitter buddies. We actually follow each other. Two, through a mutual friend, at one point I came extremely close to actually working with Vince Russo. There was a time where, and this would have been right after he was done with the pyro and ballyhoo bullshit. If you remember how all that went down. Yes, Maurice, yes. I came very close to working actually with Vince Russo. After the pyro and ballyhoo was over and done with, Vince Russo had said that he was very interested in the new endeavor, what would ultimately become the Vince Russo brand. Vince was interested in taking on some shows. He was interested in a new co-host for the way he was picturing it and everything. You guys know he does like these multiple shows. There was one show particularly he was picturing, he could have a co-host and everything. So through a mutual friend at that time, I said, yo, can you do me a solid? Can you put in a word for me with Vince? It's like, we're already kind of, interacting with each other and everything, but you think you could maybe put in a word for me? It's like, I got the cachet. I've got the credentials, right? I got enough, He's like, oh, yeah, sure, bud. I could definitely put in a word for you. No problem. I'm like, okay, good bet. Thanks. Followed up with my friend, like, anything? He's like, nothing yet. Let me try again. I'm like, okay, cool. So Russo was very interested. He was very interested in working with me. But unfortunately, the thing was the direction that he wanted to go in first, because again, this was right after Pyro and Ballyhoo. The way he wanted to do it, he wanted to go in white hot. So he wanted to build a team of people that were definitely established, right? Wrestlers, wrestling managers. He wanted to go in that direction. And then maybe after he built it up, then maybe circle back, and then maybe we could try to do a little something. That's why, and I love the dude, Dr. Chris Featherstone. That's why if you notice, Vince is now doing something with Chris. Yeah, if I would have just stayed at it, been consistent, continued open dialogue with Vince, then that probably would have been either me or Vince, or it would have been me, Vince, and Chris doing that whole thing. But if you don't believe me, just ask Vince straight up, be like, hey, is it true that Lee Sanders at one point had reached out to you and said he was interested in being your co-host, but you were down, but you wanted to go in a different direction? I'm sure he'll probably I have to, push come to shove, I do have the DM exchanges still of everybody but that's a true story. I say that because contrary to how some people feel about Vince Russo and his stamp on wrestling, not everything was Vince Russo's fault. Not everything that Vince Russo did was straight up bad. It's just that we focus on those and we just amplify the fuck out of it times 100, and we get ourselves worked up in this big old frenzy and everything. You know what I'm saying? That we just go, right? It's kind of funny. But even I, as somebody that respects the hell out of Vince Russo for his contributions to the business, good, bad, and different, I just respect his contributions in general. Even I got to look at this guy sideways and go, dude, how can you say the shit that you're saying about Triple H? Really, man? Like, under Vince McMahon, we kept getting bad potty jokes. We kept getting butt cheek jokes. We kept getting grapefruit jokes. We kept getting a meaningless women's division. We kept getting, like, all this shit. It's like, motherfucker, hasn't even been a month. Motherfucker, it hasn't even been 90 days. Motherfucker, it hasn't even been 6 months. Can we give the Triple H regime a little bit of time just to build enough of a portfolio so we can say, here's what's working so far. Here's what needs to be improved. Here's where you just need to say, dude, just abandon this altogether. Vince is still in charge. It's like, and we're seeing these moves that have gone down so far. Fucking Karrion Kross making his triumphant return on Friday Night SmackDown. That was a fantastic way to see my guy return. Look, who's Karrion Kross / Killer Kross fans and who's not. Did you see the amount of people that were tripping over the fact that Killer Kross returned with hair? Did you notice that? Meanwhile, everybody else that really is a fan, they've been following his shit. Even if they haven't been watching his matches in the other promotions, they've at least seen his great, well-produced video little vignettes where he's walking down the street, smoking a cigar and shit. And he's pretty much hyping up his next opponent. Anybody that's at least been following him on social media knows the dude's been letting his hair grow out for a good moment now. That's how you know who's really been following a person's work and who's just bullshitting. Just the level of jokes that was put out there, right? Now, granted, I did see some really good jokes out there. The one I had loved the most was from my friend Matt Kuhn. And Matt Kuhn had said, he said something like, I am pissed and jealous as fuck of Karrion Kross. All those months he went bald and he has all that pretty hair. I'm thinking, yeah, like as somebody that's a baldy over here, I'm going, dude, you got all that nice fucking hair that whole time you were sitting on, Now, I honestly, once he left WWE and he started letting his hair grow out, because it's interesting, because I was following him back when he was in Impact, and he was pushing a bald head. So when I saw him in Impact, when I was watching him in MLW, bald head, I did not even, because I didn't even research and look at previous work before he even did the stuff with those respective promotions. But then after he left WWE and I'm checking him out on the independents and shit, and I'm seeing him grow that hair, I'm going, God damn, this dude, whoa, you got all your hair and you, what, why are you, like, dude, you know, the last time I had let my hair grow out was about 2-3 years ago. You can actually see it. You can actually see how my hair had looked. Some of you guys may say, oh, you can still push it. Like, it just has to be pretty low. It's like, wifey doesn't like it. Wifey's like, I like the bald head. Just keep the bald head. It's like, okay, cool. Look at him, like, Matt Coon had a good joke, though. His joke was good. But everybody else, you can just tell who's been actually following and who's not. But that was a fantastic return. I don't know if that means that coming up at, what are they calling that damn pay-per-view? Clash at the Castle? Clash at the White Castle? I don't know if it means that, Clash at the Castle. Okay, Clash at the Castle. Every time, just White Castle. That's all I've been thinking about, White Castle. White Castle. I finally had some White Castle yesterday. It wasn't the real deal from the restaurant. It was frozen food. But I tell you what, I put them bitches in the microwave. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe because I had an extra paper towel over them bitches. Man, them things came. See, this is what I like to do with my White Castle. I like to do it, follow the instructions, right? But then afterwards, take them bitches out. I will actually take a couple of slices of cheddar cheese and slide it under. Like, you got to do it right when you get them out of the microwave. Just right when you get them out of the microwave. Just take them out, open them buns up real quick, take that slice of cheese. Me, I love cheddar. You give me some Cracker Barrel sharp yellow cheddar or sharp white cheddar. You give me that Vermont cheddar, put that in there, and then just let that sit for about a minute or two. Oh, so fucking good. So fucking good. Yeah, Don, for frozen, that's as close as you're gonna be able to get, man. That's as close as you're gonna be able to get, unless you go to the actual joint. You know, because we can all be in agreement. Something about the cheese that's initially with the White Castle burgers, you know, you don't really taste it, right? So that's why, you know, most of us, we say, well, we'll just put our own little cheese in there, and, you know, it is what it is. But that Clash at the Castle pay-per-view that's coming up, I don't know if this means that it's maybe going to morph into a triple threat, or if Karrion Kross is basically, after whatever goes down at Clash, I got next. It kind of, I'm loving it. It's making SmackDown interesting again, I gotta say. But to the point I was mentioning earlier about Vince Russo, it's like, Vince, we've seen that Karrion Kross, he's back. We see that Dexter Lumis is back. Not to mention, we're seeing that the women's division as a whole, oh, wow, you know, they're finally getting some love. You know, quality is actually finally being restored to the women's division overall, not just the singles division, but trickling on down to the tag division as well. Right down to the point we find out on Raw. You see how we're mixing it up? I think this is like the nice way to honestly do it. Nice little side chatter, and then, you know, here and there. You don't have to do a full-blown, and then we got a commercial break. But to kick off Raw, we saw the announcement of a women's tournament. Looks like it's going to rain over here at my end. That's not going to stop us from doing the show, but it's looking pretty, and I got my blinds open too. I got my blinds open, and it's looking pretty dark and cloudy out there. We got the announcement that there is going to be a tournament to crown a new women's tag team champion. Now, for those of you that are checking out the live stream, or maybe you want to just hop real quick, check out the live stream as I pull up this bracket for you guys to view here. So here's our official bracket. We got on the far left side of the screen, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai.
now we know how Bailey kind of fucked that up, right? I mean, in retrospect, I think if it was us and for maybe 15 minutes we had to say Io Sky and Dakota Kai, eventually we'd fuck that up. Seriously, we'd fuck that up. Asuka and Alexa Bliss, Nikki Ash and Doudrop. That's for your far left there. Your far right, you've got Raquel Rodriguez. I still know her as Raquel Gonzalez, but that's just me. And Aaliyah. Right up under that, we got Shotzi Blackheart and Xia Li. My favorite, my dark horse, Thickums, Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. So fucking random. I think they're trying to get a better look at both of those girls, but particularly Nikita Lyons. That's just me personally. That's me personally. I'm happy that they're getting the opportunity, though. Natalya and Sonya Deville. As far as who I think the final two teams are going to be, who I would like is one thing. What it's probably going to come down to, right? That's where it's a little bit different. I personally would love to see from the right-hand side, I'd love to see Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. I wouldn't even mind Raquel Gonzalez or Rodriguez and Aaliyah. I wouldn't even mind them to be in that final bracket. But if you're forcing me to pick just one team, I'm going with Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. Going on the left-hand side, well, we had got one match from Raw, did we not? I think the team that had advanced was, let me think for a second. Didn't we see Alexa Bliss and Asuka in action? I'm trying to think. Let me look in the show notes real quick here. Let me look at the matches real quick. That way I can kind of figure it out real quick here. Unless you guys want to go ahead and jog my memory up real fucking quick, then go for it. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'll just rely on you guys. It was Dakota and Io. They advanced? Okay. So Dakota and Io advanced. That was just one match. That was just the first one? They didn't do another one? Okay, so that was just the first one. Okay, great. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that. So Dakota and Io. Let me look at my bracket again. Oh man, they're white hot. I mean, you got this whole Bailey faction thing going down, right? So I mean, you gotta have them go. You gotta have them go all the way. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Io Sky and Dakota Kai for your finals, going up against Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. But where I think I don't think it's going to be Nikita and Zoe. I hope I'm wrong. Again, what I would like and what's probably going to happen, two different things. What's probably going to happen is Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. Now, what I can't help but wonder is, hey, yo, what's going on with Sasha Banks and Naomi? Because at this point, you just got to believe the chatter that you're seeing online. You got to believe in the hype and just kind of say to yourself, yo, it kind of feels as though we are probably going to be seeing their imminent return, right? By the way, because I know some of you guys are a little bit curious, as far as my thoughts about the Sasha Banks, Naomi, C2E2, if you were around this weekend in the Discord, you saw some of the comments that I already made. But I'll elaborate more on tonight's Wrestling with the Topics. I'll speak more about it at great length. Tams will as well, because Tams actually wanted to chime in on that. Because, I mean, me and her, we've done enough meet and greets. We've covered enough con events, public events. So tune in. We'll save it for that. But It does feel like it's inevitable, does it not, that Sasha and Naomi are going to be returning? It really does feel that way. By the way, shout out to you guys that's tuning in live. I see that we got Discord in play. We got YouTube. YouTube, I'm not ignoring you guys. It's just when you got one man over here multitasking, right? Shout out to Joey Z. Shout out to Steven. I see that we got some people watching via Facebook as well. So shout out to you guys as well. That's good. Of course, you guys representing in the Discord. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button, smash it, subscribe, all that good jazz so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. I see that we had got a couple of more subs on the YouTube channel. I think now we're at 12,110. I love that. Please keep it coming. I'm loving that. True story. It put a smile on my face to know this. Apparently, 90% of YouTube content creators will never be able to obtain at least 10,000 subscribers. It was a weird stat I had heard like last week, and I remember when I was watching some video, I was watching it with the wifey, and she was like, well, that should make you feel pretty good to know that you're not just at 10,000, but you're way past that. Like, that's gotta be a good feeling for you. I'm like, yeah, I guess I am one of the lucky ones, huh? She's like, yeah, all things considered. Like, okay, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, good shit. Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel for fuck's sake. All right, keep rocking and rolling. Some more stuff we can talk about here. So I'm happy that we got this tournament, but it just feels like we're going to see Sasha and Naomi make their triumphant return, you know, kind of like a Summer of Punk type of deal, right? We're going to see these girls. I just can't help but wonder, you know, all things considered, how is it that Triple H and crew, let me just throw it out there. I'm having a hard time putting the words together. I'm just going to throw it out there, and then if it sounds all jacked up, fucked up, I apologize. But if you're Triple H and crew and you're trying to get these girls back, first thing that comes to my mind is, how are you doing it in such a way where you're being firm, yet sending a message to the locker room that, hey, don't think that because creatively or when something isn't going your way, that all you got to do is just do like these girls did and essentially, right? I want to know particularly what kind of ramification, if at all, you know, these girls are going to be facing. You know, have they already, you know, have they talked to the locker room? Because when it's all said and done, this is a team effort. This is a team effort sport. This is a team effort show that these men and women have to get together and put on. And it just feels so, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, how are you going to ensure that something like that never, ever happens again? You know, if it was anybody else, I don't think that WWE would be even wasting the time and energy. You feel where I'm coming from? I still feel they should have been released, let them go. Good luck on your future endeavors and move on from them. I agree, man. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird because, like, okay, if you're going to operate like that, I mean, God's sake, we just saw Jonathan Gresham for whatever was going down, however he was feeling with Tony Khan. He still did the right thing. He honored his fucking commitments, all that other shit. And then that's it. He's done now. He's done with AEW ROH. There's a right way and a wrong way of doing business. And I just kind of feel as though, man, especially from the Naomi standpoint, right? Because just from the Naomi standpoint, after all these times that your husband was in some type of legal trouble, and we pretty much had turned a blind eye every fucking time. I mean, he pretty much went unfucking touchable when it's all said and done, right? You're looking at him and going, what dirt does he have on somebody to go untouched this many times every time you turn around? DUI arrest, right? You're going, Naomi, the WWE has been very kind to you and your family. Very fucking kind, because most employers, I mean, if you're a model employee, yeah, slip happens. DUI, slip happens. Shit, 2 and up, you're lucky if you still have a fucking job, right? Sasha, that's a weird one. The way she has rubbed off people over the years. People in the back. I still think about that infamous Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull Sessions episode. What was the line that she said? Like, you know, she pretty much had pulled a fucking Notorious B.I.G. line, right? You know, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, when I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. Birthdays were the worst days. Now we drank champagne while we thirsty. I mean, she pretty much was hitting her, you know, yesterday I was eating pizza. Now I'm eating, 20-ounce prime rib steak, mashed potatoes and carrots with Vince McMahon. Remember that line? She's like, I'm eating with Vince McMahon. I'm eating with Vince McMahon at his table. Man, Vince, we're besties. We're friends, right? Remember that shit? Like, damn, you got some fucking ego. And I just couldn't help but remember Steve Austin just kind of kicking back, nodding his head. I was waiting for Steve Austin to say, that's crack shit, right? You're bullshitting, right? Right? I just couldn't. I wanted for Steve Austin so bad. So, you and Vince are friends. You're buddies. Amigos. Compadres. Associates. Butt buddies. Bunk buddies. Friend and friend. What's his phone number? I got him on speed dial. You're such good buddies with him. What's his number? I was waiting for Steve Austin to just bust her ass out. Just, if there was ever a time you could just go rogue like you did with fucking Jon Moxley. Just fucking go there. Hidden fucking go there. But you could just tell. Just go back and watch that interview now. You're looking at him and you're just kind of going, even Steve isn't believing this fucking bullshit, right? But, you would have liked to believe that they're definitely going to be eating a pile of shit for at least a hot little bit. Who knows? I'll wait and see how all that fucking pans out. Montez Ford taking on Seth Rollins. Once again, the real deal, the real action to the story for that matchup was Montez Ford with his over-animated self outside the ring. I was just loving all the shenanigans he was doing on the outside there. I don't know, y'all. Dawkins, I'm legit concerned about that dude. I am legit concerned about that dude. I wish at this point he could get in contact with JTG and work out some type of a fitness regimen. If he could get as big as JTG, he might have more of a fighting chance. He might. I've been playing it in my head since last week or the week before, the idea of, well, maybe it needs to be Dawkins that goes heel and betrays Street Profits, right? Maybe it needs to be him. But then it's like, yeah, but can he really carry that? Right? Could he really carry that? Because that almost reminds you, who was it a couple of years back? Who was it? There was a tag team. I'm picturing the guy now. Tucker. Remember when they tried to have Tucker go heel? I feel like if Dawkins were to go heel, we literally would be going in that direction. So I don't really think that would work well for itself. Dawkins at this point comes off more of the type of character who needs to be playing off of someone else. And I think as a result of that, the next best thing that you should do with him, I think you should have him somehow transition into a MVP association. MVP's already got the thing going on with Omaz. We know that MVP is pretty much done with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander and all that, right? But I would love to see something come about where MVP somehow links up with Dawkins. Now, some of you guys may say, damn, it actually would be better if it was Ford. We all can agree, though, at this point, and for a while, Ford as a singles guy, like, he's got enough. He's got enough tools. He'd be better as a solo act. Dawkins, for whatever respected reason, it's just not there yet. It's just not there yet for Dawkins. And I think as a result of that, maybe pairing him up with a guy like an MVP, maybe that can kind of do something for him. I mean, it worked wonders with Lashley, right? It worked wonders. So, I don't know. And then, of course, you could always go the New Day route. Singles aspirations, but still remain a fucking unit, right? You know, you don't have to break them up. You don't. I mean, you got a couple of options there, but one thing is for certain, Ford definitely can be a fucking breakout star, right? He's proven it time and time again. There was a little bit of potential there that I saw in that Dawkins-Rollins match, but not really enough to wet my fucking noodle for all it was worth. You know what really could have helped? I'll tell you. What really could have helped and what really should have helped? Even after they had Montez Ford be ejected from ringside, I just felt it took too much away from really focusing on Dawkins against Rollins. And I say this as a person that usually has my TV on mute so that I can appreciate the in-ring action more. And I gotta say, once I saw Montez Ford start getting on his knees, doing all that fucking gyrating, acting like Fred G. Sanford, and he was having a fucking heart attack or seizure or some shit like that, I gotta say, I pretty much was distracted the rest of the way. Right down to the point, I'm paying more attention to what Ford was doing at ringside as opposed to what was going on with Dawkins and Rollins. I think that actually kind of hurt Dawkins versus Rollins, but that's just me. Seemed like it was a decent match for what it was worth. You know, I actually wouldn't mind seeing those two run it back. Just don't have Ford be at ringside and give those guys about 15 minutes. Let's see what's going down, how it's going to go down. But that's just me. Let's see. What else we got? So throw something else at me. What else had happened on Raw? All right, I'm just thinking offhand. Right, I'm doing pretty good just offhand. Some of the stuff that had went down. I know Tommaso Ciampa was in a United States Championship match against Bobby Lashley. He actually had dedicated that match to Harley Race because Harley Race was one of the guys that had trained him, and right down to the point, he came out there with a Harley Race inspired red, white, and blue robe. Looking pretty good there. I was a little bit concerned seeing Ciampa and Lashley size-wise because I'm going, man, there's going to be such a difference here. Height, mass, like, I don't know about this. But you know what? Once we kind of saw them pretty much nose to nose, you're going, okay, no, you know what? This is actually, okay. Ciampa's not as small as we thought he was going to be compared to Lashley here. Oh, okay. Like, he can hang. I thought he was going to be kind of like a midget. I got to be honest. I was looking at this, I'm going, this could be kind of one-sided looking. And I don't know about this one, y'all. Worked out well. Worked out extremely well. I was buying the hell out of the near falls in this matchup. I thought for sure Ciampa was going to come I thought he was going to get it. I legit thought he was going to get this United States Championship match. Lashley retaining the championship. Great way to go out. Ciampa, the type of match that he had, this felt like we were watching the old Ciampa. This felt like the NXT workhorse Ciampa that we came so used to seeing and everything. So, you know, even though he lost he came off more like a winner. He came off more right down to the point you could easily say this is the way that Ciampa should have been starting off when he was part of the main roster, right? And look, you can say what you want about his association with Miz. He still really shouldn't be doing that whole thing with Miz. What the hell is right? But we can definitely all be in agreement here. Isn't it interesting? Quick sidebar. Isn't it interesting? Here we are giving praise here for Ciampa. But let's also keep in mind that it wasn't that long ago that we had saw somebody else, Austin Theory, not once but twice, in a match with Bobby Lashley. And Theory, who we haven't seen, let's remember that. We haven't seen him in a minute there. Hopefully we'll see him again, maybe next week or maybe on Friday SmackDown. Who knows? But Lashley giving Theory a really good Theory rising to the occasion. It just goes to show you that Lashley, the in-ring veteran that he is, he can definitely make you look good. You just got to make sure that you're doing your best, you're doing your part, and you're bringing your best A game and all that. And I tell you what, man, when it's been coming to certain guys that has had to work with Lashley has been helping them out tremendously, and then some. So I like the way that this was laid out. One of the better WWE matches I've seen on television in quite some time. So good shit right there. Omos in a squash match against some created wrestlers. Whatever. Miz taking on AJ Styles. AJ picking up the win here. Started off kind of slow, but definitely towards the end is when things had really started cooking up and everything here. A lot of odds there because Miz, Ciampa, just a whole bunch of shenanigans shit that was going on there at ringside. Good match, though. It was actually a pretty good match. Styles, I got to be honest with you. I miss Styles being in the main event picture. Not as a World Heavyweight Champion. I just miss him being in the World Heavyweight picture scene. Right? I don't want him as champion. I just miss him in the main event scene. And I'm hoping that at some point before the year is out, a couple of dubs, we see him chasing after. I would love to see that. I would love to fucking see that. Particularly, I don't know about you guys, but I personally wouldn't mind seeing AJ Styles, Roman Reigns. That's just me. Call me crazy, but that's just me. Good spot there with Dexter Lumis. Pretty good episode. Not as solid as last week, I gotta say, but throughout this whole episode, they were able to maintain the same level of energy. And the emphasis on Dexter Lumis at the end, very, very interesting. A very unique yet bizarre choice to go there, because now you're creating the curiosity, and now you're going to have a bunch of people that don't know anything about. Now they're going to go online and try to research what this guy is all about. And look, I'm happy that Dexter Lumis is back with the WWE, because I got to be honest with you guys. Let me take a swig real quick. I was watching Dexter in NWA, National Wrestling Alliance. He's been doing some stuff, here and there, and I'm just looking and I'm going, I got to be honest with you guys, NWA, it just hasn't been the same these past couple of months. Like, right? I'll tell you, I'll pinpoint for you where I started losing interest with NWA. Right when Matt Cardona had became champion. No Maurice, right where Matt Cardona had became champion, because I was a little bit concerned about, all right, where exactly are we going here, with NWA? What's the long-term plan by having Cardona as the NWA champion? If it's to basically capitalize off his 15 minutes of fame tearing it up on the independent scene, and NWA is pretty much going to capitalize that way. Okay, I'm down for it, but at the end, what is the payoff going to be for the NWA overall, right? So they had my curiosity for a little bit, although for me, that was okay, we're kind of going down a little slope here. And then once the Cardona injury, to Maurice's point, once it did happen, that's where I started to lose interest real fucking quick. It feels like a completely different show. I can't really describe it. Mish could probably describe it a little better than I can, but it just feels like, I'll try to sum it up this way. A year ago, 2 years ago, you felt like that kid in a comic store, and you had came across a really good series that nobody else was talking about, that nobody else was even thinking about, nobody else was even picking up an issue to check it out, right? You're ranting, you're raving behind it, you are fucking loving this series. You show it to a couple of your friends, and they're like, wow, actually, this is pretty damn good. They start collecting it as well, right? And then you fast forward about maybe a year and a half later. Now there's a new writer, there's a new artist, new direction, and it's like, I kind of like the way you had it before. I don't really know if I should be buying this as a monthly series anymore. That's how it kind of, COVID pandemic hurt NWA the most. Yeah, that did take away from their momentum. I'll give you that. That did take away from their momentum. But even when they came back, there was still just a little bit of, like, out of 100%, there was still about 60, maybe 70% of that NWA magic still there. But it seemed like as time progressed, they just, I can't quite put my finger on it, but now it just feels like a glorified indie fed. It just feels like a glorified indie fed. I don't like saying that because there's certain talents that I like over there. I love JTG. I love Camille. I think highly the world of Camille and her husband, Tom Latimer. I love those cats. Sky Blue was another one. I was enjoying her work. Kinsey Page. Who else they got over there? Colby Carino, phenomenal. Why Homicide has held on to that NWA US title for so fucking long is beyond me. I have no interest in a Homicide. When they started doing shit like that, it was just kind of, Fixers, I love the Fixers. Fixers are pretty good. Seriously, my wife was telling me the other day, she's like, why do you still have this NWA subscription if you're not really watching the product and covering it like you're used to? I'm like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. Like, so I'm pretty close to, I'm pretty close to canceling my subscription, because that's how uninterested I am in the NWA product these days, right? So it's really weird. But to my point, I was happy to see Dexter, Samuel Shaw, do his thing over there with the NWA, but I just looked at that and I said, nah, man, you're better than this. Seriously, I hate to say that, because you don't mean disrespect when you're talking about the NWA, because Billy Corgan, Nick Aldis and crew, they have the best intentions at heart. They mean well, and they're trying. Lord knows they're trying. But you're looking at a guy like Dexter Lumis, and you're going, nah, man, like, you're way better than this. Like, Impact, New Japan, AEW even, like, you don't need to go over here and, right? So I'm actually happy. And look, not for nothing, there are certain people in NWA I'm looking at, and I'm going, Time to stop playing around with these small fries. It's time to start chasing the bigger dream. It's time to go start chasing the real paper. There's certain people I'm looking at and I'm going, jump already. Seriously, jump already. Let's go. And I hope they get that opportunity. I fucking hope that they get the fucking. Why was Homicide the champion? Period. Your guess is as good as mine, because Eddie remembers when we were going over the NWA USA title brackets. I said, shit, it's got to be Colby Corino. Colby Corino, hands down. If I saw the bracket again, I could tell you who my two were going to be for the champion. But Colby Corino was my number one. He was my number one. I never had Homicide. I ain't have him sniffing that motherfucker. I did not even have him sniffing that fucking championship. Like get the fuck out of here with that, right? Bestia 666, Mecha Wolf. I mean, they got some good ass pieces that's over there. Mims, they got good pieces that's over there. I remember the last time I had watched NWA, it was probably like about maybe a month ago. I can't tell you how quickly I wanted for the episode to be over with. And as we all know, most of these episodes are like 45 minutes. I was bored out of my fucking mind. That should tell you all you need to know about what's going on with the current NWA product. Now, look, that was a month ago. Maybe things have changed. Maybe it's kind of picked back up. Have to go in, seeing everything, but I'm willing to give them a chance. I'm willing to give them another chance, right? Hey, I had watched the Lex Luger A&E biography special from over the weekend. And I got to say, if you did not go out of your way to watch that special, I highly, highly recommend you do. Now, remember, we had heard probably as early as last year to almost 2 years ago that there was a Lex Luger special that was being recorded. And you're going, oh, okay, great. Yeah, would love to see this premiere. And remember, it was supposed to premiere on the WWE Network. Matter of fact, they had a July 4th launch date. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but it pretty much had came and went. And a lot of us were going, well, what the hell's going on here? We were promised a Lex Luger special and nothing came to fruition. What the hell? And then we finally get this Lex Luger. Now, see, what I can't figure out, and I haven't seen this online yet, so you guys got to forgive me if it is out there. I just didn't dig deep enough. But what I can't figure out is this A&E special on Luger, if a lot of it is recycled from what should have been the Lex Luger special that WWE was going to launch on the network, or no, this is actually it. That's what I can't quite figure out right now. But in either case, this documentary, it was great. It was great. I told you guys when we were going over the episodes for this new season of Biography Legends, which ones that, okay, I'll watch this. I'll pay attention to this. I don't give a damn about. And I said to you guys, Kurt Angle one, I'll definitely watch. The Lex Luger, yeah, I'll definitely watch that one for sure, right? I don't give a fuck about WWE rivalries. If I hear one more fucking time about WWE versus WCW, how many fucking times are we gonna beat that fucking horse to death? The horse is already dead. It's laying on the fucking ground. Fucking flies and maggots are already coming from out of the motherfucker. You're already seeing the skull. Jesus fucking Christ. Seriously. And then we're doing it in such a way where we're changing the narrative every single fucking time, right? And then you're doing it in a way where you're having some of these people talk about the rivalry. They either weren't born, okay? They either weren't born, or you got some fucking guess, why should I give a fuck about what Terry Crews has to say about the WCW, WWE rivalry, for example? Or, what the fuck? Why is Gordon Ramsay here talking about the WCW, WWE rivalry? Why should I give a flying fuck about what Gordon Ramsay has to say about the WWE, WCW rivalry? Like, kick rocks. Seriously, right? Like kick fucking rocks. How about you give me a roundtable discussion like what I've been asking for fucking years? Legends of Wrestling. Give me that roundtable style of a rivalry. So give me, but see, in a perfect world, you can't really, because certain people are now working for another promotion, right? But we can make up for this in some ways. We can make up for it in some ways. Give me fucking Paul Heyman. Give me Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette's a free agent. Have him come out. Right? Everybody's got a price. Okay? So give me Paul Heyman. Give me Jim Cornette. Give me J.J. Dillon. Okay? Give me Eric Bischoff. Vince McMahon ain't doing shit now. Give me Vince McMahon. Okay? There you go. Now you're making your shit interesting, okay? If you're going to have me watch this regurgitated bullshit, at least make it worth my while. Hey, look. Hey, for the first time ever, right? All these great minds sitting here, you know, that would be, I'd be all right with that. I'd be fucking all right with that. Give me Ole Anderson. A fat chance of that happening, but I'll take Arn. I'll settle for Arn. Give me Flair. Who else can you put in? Give me Nash. Give me DDP. Right? Give me the guys that actually were fucking there. Give me the guys that were operating whatever behind the scenes. Right? I don't give a fuck about what some fucking, you know, Jesus. Dua Lipa shares her, like, Dua, were you even born? Were you even a kid during that period, Dua? Like, seriously, why should I care about what you... Seriously. But the Lex Luger special, I enjoyed it so fucking much. I was just mesmerized. And right down to the point, when the special was over, something I had never, ever done before. I never, ever read Lex Luger's book. I couldn't bring myself to read his book because I can still remember everything as if it were yesterday. Just the circumstances surrounding Miss Elizabeth's death and everything. I remember at that point just being so mad at Luger. Fuck you, fuck the horse you rode in on, and, you know. And then I remember once I started getting into the podcasting world, I remember that book had picked up a lot of traction. A lot of traction. Even though it had been out for a couple of years, I remember how, because the world of podcasting was you know, really starting to blow up and everything, it was making certain stories become really, really popular again. And I can't remember the guy's name now. But there was a guy that had an opportunity to interview Lex Luger. And this was probably like year 2 that I was doing my show. Year 2, maybe year 3. And I just remember when this guy, again, he's no longer on the air, but I remember when he had Luger on this show and they were going over the book and everything. Luger, it was a great interview. It was a great fucking interview that the guy did with Luger. And that had just picked up so much steam, and it had made you want to revisit the book if you didn't read it already. But I still couldn't bring myself to read the book. It's interesting because just as I said to you guys at the top of the show, my tolerance for bullshit, it's like, yeah, I'm one and out, right? I just don't have enough patience for it. You know, back then I held such animosity, such hatred for Lex Luger. But then as the years progressed, you know, I found myself learning more and more about what was going on with this man and his spiritual journey. I'm not one that ever goes biblical. I'm not one that ever goes religious. I don't believe in forcing that upon other people. My wife has the same mindset. Do I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior? No, but I do think that there is a higher power that's out there. To the point when we leave this earth, I do believe that there is a entity, a power of higher being that we have to answer to. All the rights, all the wrongs, we will be judged. I do believe that. I do believe that. That's about as close as you're going to get to me being religious. I got to really fuck with you like that to really go deep. But that's just a little snippet where I come from. So to those that pray to Jesus, pray to Allah, right? I see all that, right? I see different in every religion. So to see what's going on with Lex Luger over the years, it softened me up a little bit. Softened me up. This special that A&E had did in WWE, it made me appreciate the accountability that Luger took on himself. You know, nothing is more, okay, you truly have seen the error in your ways and you truly are trying to live your life as a better individual, for better or worse. You truly are trying to stay on the right path. Watching that special, I just felt so, well, good for Lex. Seriously, good for Lex. And if it means that you've got to accept your Lord and Savior in Jesus Christ to help you stay on the right path, then God bless you. You know, it's been working for you this far. Okay. The stuff with Miss Elizabeth, you know, the way I feel to that now, we may not like what had went down, the circumstances surrounding Miss Elizabeth. That fine bit of detail, too, that Luger had shared. So, for those of you that didn't watch the special, so it was like early morning, early afternoon. They had just got done popping some pills, some pharmaceuticals, some illegal pharmaceuticals. And he went to the microwave and he was making them some TV dinners or whatever. He brought hers out. Then he went to go make his. And she was still awake and all that. She was on the sofa chilling. He goes into the kitchen, heats up his food, comes back, sees that she's slouched over on the sofa. He hears some kind of snoring or whatever going on. And, you know, he's kind of like, oh, you know, hey, Liz, eat your food before it gets cold. Unresponsive. So he's shaking her again, trying to see what's going on. She's not coming to. That's what leads to the infamous 911 call, right? If you have not heard the audio, I've only heard the audio in its entirety once. Bone fucking chilling, let me tell you. Okay? Something I don't want to hear again, quite honestly. But to, you know, it was taking me back hearing the little clips there from the episode. You know, you're just hearing how Luger had sounded back then. It's like, God damn. This motherfucker is sounding so nonchalant. He's coming off. It's like, dude, fucking do CPR already. Fucking get on top. And he's, I don't know what to do. Somebody, you gotta get somebody out here that knows what they're doing. Like, that's not typically the right response, right? If a loved one is, you know, you're panicking, you are, if they meant a damn to you, you're crying, okay, you're angry and emotional, you're just all of those things, and, you know, please help me, you know, you're putting the phone down on speaker, or you got it in between your ear and your shoulder, and you're following the instructions of what the 911 operator is telling you to do, because heaven forbid you're in a position and you've got to provide CPR to somebody, but you don't know how to do CPR. the 911 operator will tell you everything that you need to do. And pretty much you're doing it right up until the pros get in there, and you let them take over. Right? Now, I'm not making an excuse for Luger, but you could make an argument that, well, he was so inebriated. He was so high. Right? And I just remember when all of that shit had went down with Luger and we found out, okay, not only did Miss Elizabeth died, but that, oh shit, Larry Fowle, he was charged with having illegal, drugs, and apparently he was selling these drugs too. And right, like he's not being arrested for the death of Miss Elizabeth, but instead the drugs that, and you're going, Jesus Christ. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud like that, but I mean, come on, right? You're just going, man, you would have thought that would have been rock bottom for the dude. You would have thought, that's it. This is going to be now your turning point. This is going to be your coming to Jesus moment. And then he had those years there where he was just continuing to be arrested left and fucking right. It's sad that it had to take the death of a beautiful woman, his kids, who don't want to have anything to do with him. That probably was the most heartbreaking of it all, was to hear that, despite everything that's happened with him, now that he's found Jesus and everything, his kids don't want anything to do with him. I mean, that just breaks your fucking heart, because you're like, wow, you see this new guy that he's become, right? Let's not even talk about the wrestling career. I mean, the wrestling career, that was nice going down memory lane, on a more lighter note, right? Because I know we were kind of heavy and dark talking about Luger there, but the in-ring stuff with Luger. By the way, how'd you like to have a friend such as Steve Borden, Sting? Talk about a good friend that's been with a guy through thick and thin. I mean, my God, once that dude got saved and he tried to get Luger on board and Luger's not having it, he could have easily just said, okay, you know what? This is the lifestyle you're going to live. I don't want nothing to do with it. Peace to you. Peace to you, brother. He could have easily done that. But instead, he just kept at it. He did not abandon his friend. Boy, I tell you, friends like that do not grow on trees, as they are extremely hard to come across, especially in this day and age. Insane. But, the wrestling career stuff, that was nice going down memory lane. The Lex Express. I remember being a kid looking at that fucking Lex Express going, what the hell is this? What is this corny bullshit? I think I was in my early teens when that shit was going on. I'm going, what is this bullshit? It's like, dude's getting on a fucking wannabe Greyhound and he's going state to state, making his claim why he should be the WWF champion. Like, what is this? This shit's kind of corny. And I remember kind of getting the American, the all-American apple pie, American flag, the American way, Hulk Hogan. I just remember getting that vibe when I was looking at him. I'm going, I don't really. And I remember his narcissist run. I like the narcissist Lex Luger more than the American hero. That's just me. We're probably gonna separate right there. But I was feeling the narcissist as a kid. I was liking him just coming out there, all those fucking mirrors, and I love that. The original masterpiece, when you really stop and think about it. The original fucking masterpiece, Lex Luger. There's a dream matchup for you. Hell, a tag team at that. That would have been badass. That would have been badass to fucking see there, man. I was liking all of that. And, to see all the blooper stuff behind the scenes of Luger doing those signings, not really just the way he was interacting with the fans, you're going, damn, this dude comes off like an asshole, right? Oh man, I mean, woo! But Vince saw something. Vince wanted, but I would agree. When it came to Lex Luger doing the slam, I mean, they were doing it right. They were building it up right. Luger getting off that fucking helicopter on that 4th of July episode, doing the Yokozuna body slam challenge and all that. That was a nice, good, proper way to set up Luger going up against Yokozuna, everything culminating there. What was that, SummerSlam? I mean, they did it right. They did everything right. But to have Luger not win the championship, I thought that was detrimental. As a kid, I looked at that going, now, I wasn't that smart about the business. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't that smart about the business. But I did look at that and say, well, damn. Because they had the balloons, remember? All the balloons, the confetti was coming down. But then we hear, hey, championship can't change on a count out. So I couldn't help but say, well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Like, he should be champion. And I lost interest in Luger real fucking quick, right? Looking back on it in retrospect, they missed the boat. They missed the boat on that one. But you know what? His run in WCW, for what it was worth, before everything went down with him and Miss Elizabeth, for what it was worth, he had some really damn good moments there. It was a really great episode, though. Really great episode. I don't mean to get too long-winded on it, but it's not every day I get very excited about a special. And I thought that everybody involved did a phenomenal job with that. To the point that I was trying to make earlier, I actually went on ahead. It's coming tomorrow. I actually ordered from Amazon Lex Luger's book. And I am looking forward to reading that. That is something that's long overdue. And look, to those that may still feel a particular way about what all had went down with Miss Elizabeth and Luger, and have that idea in their head that, hey, he killed her, what the fuck. I'm kind of reminded of Better Call Saul from this standpoint. When Kim Wexler ultimately decides to break away from Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman, she says to him, yeah, you love me, I love you, so what? You got to understand that us being together, we do bad things to good people. When I look at Lex Luger and Miss Elizabeth, the circumstances surrounding how they got together, the infidelity that was involved in all that, before you even embark on the infidelity journey and all that, when you're starting to look outside of your home, it's really time for you to sit down with that significant other and, hey, look, this is what's going on, right? Communication, transparency, you got to have that. That's how a relationship, any relationship, can be successful. It's when you have that open line of dialogue in there, right? When you feel that you're being respected, you're being appreciated, you're being heard. If you have, it's got to be all together. It's got to be in sync. If one of those has a fucking hairline fracture in it, that could create problems, right? Luger, grown-ass man. Elizabeth, grown-ass woman. Put drugs into the mix. Looking back in retrospect, it's like, what did you think was going to happen? If both of them weren't going to go out, you knew for sure one of them was going to go out, right? It's unfortunate that Miss Elizabeth lost her life. It's unfortunate. But it's not like she was a kid. It's not like she was naive and, just a deer in the headlights. It wasn't. Everything in life, as I've always said on this show over the years, everything in life is a choice. And with that choice comes a consequence. Good or bad, there's always a consequence. From the moment you leave out of your door, you're going out there to work, wherever, every step, mindset of action that you take, there is a consequence. Most people don't look at life like that, but it truly is. It took me a while to realize that. It took me a good minute. But I say that, full context, she knew the situation that she was in, dealing with Macho Man. And when she finally decided she had enough, she chose to walk away from it. She chose to exit from it. Randy Savage tried to do everything he could to salvage the marriage, but for her respective reasons, right, she chose to, and the rest is history. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm knocking on wood. I fortunately have never been in a position where someone I dated was in such a position where they had that kind of influence on me to get me to do XYZ, drugs, whatever. It's kind of like, yeah, nah, not my cup of tea. No thanks. Little weed here and there, okay. I'm down with that. I'm down with the stash. Don't get me wrong, I'm down with that. But yeah, that LSD and LCD and cocaine, heroin. Yeah, you can keep all that shit. You can keep all that shit. But everything is a choice, to my point. So you're just going, she was a grown-ass woman. He was a grown-ass man. You kind of look at it no different than Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain within reason. You're looking at them and you're kind of going, were they bad for each other? In retrospect, you're like, were they bad for each other? Yeah. Should they have gotten together? No, they should not have gotten together. They really should have been working on themselves and getting themselves physically, mentally, spiritually in a better place. But, two wrongs don't make a right. It's no different than you have a recovering addict get with an addict. What the fuck you think is going to happen? Right? What the fuck you think is going to happen? There's going to be a fucking relapse and they're going to fucking, right? Consequence for every action. So yeah, go out of your way, check it out. The way I've been watching these episodes, for those of you that you may have cut the cord so you don't have access to A&E. The way I've been accessing it, there is a app called Philo. That's Philo. And all you gotta do is just pay like $20 a month, and you can watch Philo on your tablet, on your phone. Share screen. So I don't know how many of you guys got a smart TV, but if you got a smart TV, all you got to do is just activate the share screen on your tablet or your mobile device, blow it up on your TV that way, and then you can watch A&E. And what's really cool about it with the Philo, once you go and search, you find the series, you add it to your saved playlist, you can then go back and you can watch every single episode that you might have missed. So I'll let you guys know what I think about the book, by the way. I've heard nothing but good things about the book over the years, but it was just kind of one of those things where, my mentality back then, fuck that dude. He killed Miss Elizabeth. Fuck that nigga. Yeah, right. That's where I was back then. But, now it's interesting how time, I think you guys can relate. It's interesting how enough time passes, you start having different outlooks. You're not getting softer. You just, young fool becomes, wiser, a wise old head, right? That's just how it is sometimes. Let's see, what else? I got to look in the show notes here. What else can we talk about for the little bit of time that we're still here? Throw something at me. Throw something at me. You want to pick my brain on something wrestling news-wise or wrestling question, throw something at me. Pick my brain. While I see NFL preseason had came back in the form of the Hall of Fame game from last week. I did not watch that. I heard the two teams that were playing. I said, yeah, I'll fucking pass on that shit. But I think we got a preseason game that's going to be happening this week, right? I think we got something Thursday and Friday. Some teams are going to be playing. So it was kind of cool because in the Discord we were looking at some of the teams that were playing their schedule, and we were trying to figure out who was going to get what, all that shit. It was kind of nice. Maybe we'll do it again on tonight's Wrestling with the Topics because Tams is a big football fan as well. She particularly likes talking about her Washington Commanders. I tolerate them because she likes them, but I don't give a fuck about that team. I haven't given a fuck about the Washington. And yeah, newsflash, we still call them Redskins. So I know there's probably some people that's going to find that and be a little triggered, but we still call them the Redskins. Like when you look up the history, logo, how it was recreated, who created it, name, all that, it's very comical that eventually they had to change the fucking name and everything. All things considered. I tolerate them though because she likes them, but I haven't given a fuck about the Redskins. Let me think. Since Donovan McNabb was the quarterback, I thought they had a real good chance when they had got Donovan. And boy, I clocked out after that. I said, you guys can't even make it work with Donovan McNabb. Like, yeah, peace out. I'm out on you guys. Let's see what we got here. Klinger. I called you Klinger. I was thinking MASH. You know, that name's going to stick. I'm going to call you Klinger. Your name's now Klinger because I don't have my glasses on. Sorry. I would change that, but no, your name is now Klinger. Do you think WWE is going to hold off on the TV 14 rating until this McMahon stuff blows over? I've seen what Undertaker and a whole lot of people have said about TV 14. What's their current rating right now? TV PG? It's TV PG, right? I know it's not G. I think it's TV PG. I say that to bring this up. I have recently been watching episodes of The Garfield Show. Not The Garfield Show from the one that we remember from back in the day that had Acme Acres with the little farm animals. Not that one. I'm talking about the one that came out in the mid-2000s. It was just called The Garfield Show. I bring up that series and link it back to that question because The Garfield Show is rated G. And there are some really good jokes that's in there where if you miss it the first time, okay. But when you watch it the second time, you go, oh, shit. I'll give you a perfect example. They have this food critic. I can't think of his name right now, but for those of you that watch that series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They got this guy. He kind of reminds you of the late Louis Anderson, right? Just younger. But he's a food critic. And he comes off pretty flamboyant. He comes off like no shadow of doubt he's gay. But his sexuality is never, you know, he never comes right out and says, I'm living life. And that's how he sounds, by the way. So John Arbuckle gets a call from this guy. And he's like, oh, John Arbuckle, I heard that you're the one I need to be talking to. I heard that you're a talented artist. And John Arbuckle is saying, yeah, you know, I do a thing or two. That's great. I heard you know how to cook as well. And John's like, yeah, I know how to cook. Fabulous. So here's the thing. I need a cook and I need an artist, but I really need a really great cook. How about I come over to your house and I help myself to some of your food? And John Arbuckle's like, yeah, okay, bet. What when would you like to? How about tonight? He's like, yeah, I can whip something up. Okay, sure. So, next thing you know, the guy comes over, right? Remember, this is a G-rated show. Every episode you watch is G-rated. So Garfield gets a hold of some device from some alien creature or whatever, and I can't remember what the fuck happens, but gravity is fucked up. Like, they're all in the air, floating and everything, right? And so all the food that John is supposed to be making that's in the kitchen, everything is up in the air and shit, right? So John catches the tail end of everything that's going on, and I guess finally the alien turned off his little gravity machine. Everything goes back to normal, and the food, all of it lands on the plate, the bowl where it's supposed to. The cook, he comes in. He's like, Mr. Arbuckle, I'm here. He goes into the kitchen, and he goes, oh, my God, Mr. Arbuckle, what a great way to toss a salad. Sit on it, and you're going, damn, this is a G-rated. They would do shit like that, where if you missed it the first time, you know, but then the second go round, you're going, whoa, there's some subliminal kind of nice little. So how does that link back to Klinger's question from this standpoint? You don't really need a TV 14 rating to be able to do excellent storytelling. That's my whole point. You can do what you need to do with the current rating that you have right now, and you can check off all the fucking boxes. Okay, TV 14, what is that really going to accomplish? What is that really? What, you're going to be able to say fuck? Ooh, yeah, you know, I watch AEW and TNT and TBS, and they say fuck, and they say shit, they say bitch, and I'm like, oh, okay, so besides that, what are we talking? Well, you know, it'd be nice if we saw people bleed. Really? We're already complaining about motherfuckers bleeding all the damn time on the AEW weekly shows. Like, seriously. Nah, try again. You know, well, you know, we could see nude women. Are you sure about that? I don't really, no. Okay? So, again, I think that the only thing that you would ultimately accomplish with a rated TV 14 rating is that you would put this false narrative out there that, oh my God, TV 14 is back for the WWE. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. People fail to realize, and I'm speaking as a veteran wrestling fan, and I'm sure that, you know, brothers in arms in the podcasting world would agree with me when I say this. Not everything about the Attitude Era, which was under a TV 14 rating, was good. Not everything during the Attitude Era was good. Not everything during the Monday Night War was good. So this whole thing about, you know, oh, TV 14, it'll, you know, and Klinger, that's not directed at you. It's just a narrative that I keep hearing. TV 14, it would fix everything. TV 14, it would just, motherfuckers are acting like TV 14 is Duke's fucking mayo, and it'll fucking save the hell out of a sandwich when ain't nothing wrong with the sandwich. It's just the way the sandwich is being presented. If I'm taking a sandwich, okay, a really good sandwich, I'm taking your favorite bread, I'm taking your favorite meats and vegetables and cheese, right? Everything you would want in a perfect sandwich. And I'm putting that bitch in a brown paper bag, and I'm just slamming the shit out of that joint on the fucking table. And then I give it to you and say, here you go, eat up, yum, 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 good. Dude, my sandwich is shit. Yeah, but I mean, you got some good quality shit that's in there. I hear you, but my sandwich is shit. Like, can you, okay, you know, I'll buff it out, sure. You know, it's like WWE this current rating that they have, a lot of the stuff that they've given us, has been shit. Sometimes it's been good stuff, but it's been in a bag and they've beaten it and they've been presenting it in a shitty way when all they need to do is let's just take some of these ingredients that we've been using. Let's make sure as far as the presentation goes, it's we finesse it. It's nice and to the point. The past 2 weeks that we've gotten of WWE programming, less potty humor jokes, less fucking dick balls jokes, right? Less of that. More representation when it comes to the women doing their thing. In the past 2 weeks, we've already gotten a better product that, to the point, not to mention, here's the other thing that you got to think about from a business side, right? Here's something else that most people don't talk about. This is a good question, by the way. I love the question. You got to think about advertisers. Okay, so with this product, who are you trying to attract, right? Let me give you a perfect example. Sometimes I'll get a referral via email. Hey, Lee, you have worked with blah, blah, blah in providing ad spots on your show, doing some voiceover. They had mentioned you. I'd like to bring you on board. Can we talk about, so what is it that you need help promoting? This is true. This actually happened, I think, over the weekend. So Eddie can confirm this. Somebody was trying to get me to sell steroids, HGH, abortion pills, and I can't remember the other thing, but they were trying to get me to basically promote all this on the show. And I said, flat out, I said, hell no. In the email, I said, hell no. I said, we're not touching that. It's like, we're not touching that. You know what kind of Pandora's box that would create if I were to touch something like that? Not just the legal ramifications that would come from that, but the type of exposure I would be putting myself in from the standpoint of, as far as what type of audience I'm trying to attract, right? You gotta have some type of, because you gotta hold yourself to a code and you gotta stick to it, because once you go past that code, then it's kind of one of those, right? Okay, so WWE does the TV 14. And we're thinking about advertisers. And some of the stuff that they're doing, like the last thing you want to do is alienate your advertisers. The last thing you want to do is alienate good sponsors like the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Boys and Girls Club, right? That's the last thing that you want to be doing. Somehow there's a fly in here. I wonder if I can kill it live on the air. Let's see. Yay, I got it. Okay, it's live, pal. I got it. So, I somehow closed the blinds, but anyway, I hate those flies. The big slow flies. I like that they're big and slow. Depending on where you live, you get like these one type of flies. They're big and they're slow. They're kind of juicy looking. They can't really fly. I mean, you can just get them with your hand easily and they're fucking dead on the spot. Anyway, stay with me here. So you got to hold yourself to a certain code. Because once you go past that code, you leave yourself exposed to all kinds of, right? So in WWE's case, they've got all these fucking sponsors. Okay? We just went through some of the names. Okay? All right, so we're going to go TV 14. We're going to do this. We're going to be more edgier. We're going to be more in your face. We're going to throw more profanity. We're going to have more adult-oriented storylines. We're going to do this. Motherfuckers are going to get, we're going to go back to the days where Brian Pillman pulled out a gun on live TV and we went off the air. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Like, okay. And just how many sponsors, let alone viewers, are you going to alienate all in the name of getting that TV 14 rating? And is it really worth it? Right? So you're willing to lose a sponsor such as, give me a sponsor. Give me a brand name sponsor real quick, because I'm drawing a blank right now. Papa John's. Papa John's. So you're willing to lose Papa John's as a sponsor for 1-900 horny, right? Or you're willing to lose Best Buy advertising with you so that you can get JJ Walker. Hey y'all, it's me again. I wanted to let you all know that you can get Medicare at the touch of a button just by calling this toll-free number, right? You really want to go in that fucking direction with the JJ Walker fucking Joe Namath, you know, hey folks, Medicare's waiting for you. Like, you seen some of these fucking sponsors that some of the lower wrestling promotions have had, right? And it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously, you don't want to, right? Because you know how WWE is rolling and everything. That's why whenever the renewal joint comes up for WWE with NBC Universal, it's going to be interesting to see what direction they go in. It really, really is. It really, really is. Because I'm most curious, you know, where they're gonna. I feel that as far as a TV 14 rating goes and all that, I feel that if this is a big if it were to happen, two things. If it were to happen, it won't happen until WWE renegotiates with NBC Universal, which I don't think is going to be up for at least another. Somebody had told me before. I don't think it's going to be up for like at least another 3 years. At least 3, possibly 4 years, because it was a multi-year deal. Maybe that's when the TV 14 deal will kick in. But then even at that, if it were to kick in, I still feel it's going to be business as usual. I still feel that way. I'm curious. You know, we're tripping over Raw and everything, right? But before NXT 2.0 came about, what was the TV rating when it was black and gold? I'm curious. Was that ever TV 14? Because if that was never TV 14, NXT black and gold, if that was never TV 14, I think I might have just validated the whole fucking point I was making the whole time. All right, Eddie's saying PG. So to my point, you see how NXT black and gold was operated under the rating of PG. There was a lot of good shit that we liked about black and gold NXT. So to my point, not everything needs to be about TV 14. Seriously. The only time you should be tripping about TV 14 is, are we telling a wrestling show here, or are we trying to do like Walking Dead? Are we trying to do like Better Call Saul? Are we, what exactly do we hope to gain with a TV 14 rating that we can't already do? You understand what I'm saying? And with that great portfolio of advertisers that they already have, you don't really want to rock that fucking boat. You don't. So let me look at some more questions here from you guys. Let's see. What else you got here? Yeah, but that was a true story. Yeah, somebody tried to get me to advertise illegal drugs, HGH, steroids, abortion pills. I just said, hell no. So we ain't touching that shit. Hell no. I had another person that was trying to get me to sell and promote firearms. I'm talking AR-15s, and I just, the shit I could have said to them, but I didn't. I just spam. I just marked that shit as spam. Let's see what else you got here. Pretty sure I had saw another question. Well, you know what? Hang on. I did see another question, but let me just go in here real quick here. To Daniel in the chat, you are sadly mistaken, my friend. To date, there has been 2 Garfield animated shows. You had one that was from the late 1980s. That was called Garfield and Friends. The series that I just got done talking about was called The Garfield Show. The Garfield Show was around 2004, 2005. If you have Amazon Prime, you can actually see that respected series. It's funny because a lot of people, when I mention The Garfield Show, they're very quick to think about the joint from the 80s. And I go, no. I'm talking about the one from the 2000s. And they're like, there wasn't one made in the 2000s. Like, actually, there was. And Jim Davis was involved in everything. It's funny when I mention it and people are like, wait, what? I mentioned that series as early as this weekend because me and the wifey, we had hung out with our best friends. And we had got on the topic of retro TV, and I had mentioned The Garfield Show. And they were like, oh, yeah, the one from the 80s, right? I'm like, no, the one from the 2000s. Huh? No, there was only one. Like, no, there was one. And I actually went on my phone. I pulled up an episode. The animation is completely different for the one in the 2000s, the Garfield Show. It's more 3D. And they did something for the very first time where the animals, all of them, their lips are moving. Whereas the original one that we're used to, their lips aren't moving at all. You know, Garfield on the new one, this new one from the 2000s, his mouth is actually, it's kind of creepy at times when you're watching him talk because you're so used to, right? You're just used to, no lip action, just the eyes. It's all about the eyes. Yeah. Of course, I remember Ghostbusters. I grew up on Ghostbusters. Love that one. Yeah, Luger did look rough in the wheelchair, Maurice. It was rough seeing him. He can walk around. It's very, very limited, right? And he can't be standing on his feet that long. Aren't people going to crow about Cornette and his attitude? Cornette has his fucking moments. He has his fucking moments. I like Booker, though. Booker's pretty good. You know who I had appreciated recently? Because I was curious what their take was going to be on the Ric Flair last match. Dutch Mantel. Years I have been trying to get Dutch Mantel on the show, but every time I was trying to get him on, he was always tied to some wrestling promotion, whether it was Impact or WWE. The timing, sadly, was never fucking right. I'm happy to see he's doing the podcasting game. He does pretty well. I actually like his co-host too. I sadly don't know his co-host name offhand, but I think his co-host is pretty solid. But Dutch, if y'all didn't check out what Dutch had to say, I think it should be out now or it's going to drop this week. Jeff Jarrett, there's something that was uploaded on High Spots. Bill Apter was basically doing the Q&A panel with Jeff Jarrett. It was like a day or two after the Ric Flair last match. And you kind of got a little bit of a snippet on how Jarrett feels about that whole match. But he said he was going to talk more about it on his podcast this week. So I definitely want to hear what Jarrett had to say. But if you didn't check out the High Spots preview, check that one out. See what else you guys are saying here. Yep, Punked Enigma, you got it. There's the image. Yep, the Garfield. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. When I bring that up, like a lot of people don't know that. That show's actually good. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually found it to be more enjoyable than Garfield and Friends. I know that's kind of crazy, and the guy that actually does the voice of Garfield from the Garfield show, he sounds literally like Lorenzo Music. He literally sounds like him. I think the guy that was doing the voice of Garfield for that one, I think Frank Weckler or something like that. If you give me a second, I can actually tell you. Yeah, he sounds just like, Frank Welkler. He's the guy that does the voice of Garfield. He sounds literally like, what the fuck is that sound? That was weird. Anyway, he sounds literally like Lorenzo Music's Garfield. It's pretty badass. My favorite Garfield character, by the way, for those of you that's curious, I love Garfield, but Nermal. I love fucking Nermal. And I appreciate Nermal even more on the new Garfield show, because Nermal is just, hello, Garfield. Am I just the most cute, adorable cat you've ever seen in your entire life? And fucking Garfield's like, Nermal, if you don't get the fuck out of my house, I'm gonna mail you the Arby Darby or whatever the fuck, Aruba. He stay Abu Dhabi. There it is, Abu Dhabi. He stay mailing his ass off to Abu Dhabi. It's fucking hilarious, man. I love that shit. Let's see what you got here. Yeah, watch it on Amazon. If you guys got Amazon, some type of Amazon monthly membership, you guys know you can watch movies and shit. So you can watch the Garfield show through Amazon Prime. And just, you know how it works when you're watching a series, you're good for like the first 3-4 episodes, and Amazon then asks you if you're still alive, you know, kind of like Netflix. I wish I could disable that. Just when I'm ready, I'll turn it off myself. You know, it's kind of one of those type of deals. See, I remember seeing Luger when I worked in BWI. I did not want a picture. He asked me politely, turned it down. You turned down a picture with Lex Luger? Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Nah, I'd have done it. If I ever see him, the way I feel about him now these days, if I were to see him at a convention, I would most likely have him sign the book, his book. I would get him to sign the book. I would definitely get him to sign the big gold belt as well. Speaking of big gold belt, Shawn Michaels is going to be doing a private signing with Signed by Superstars, a new company endeavor by Rob Feinstein. Pretty good prices. If you guys want to get a belt signed, it's going to cost you $150. So that's, all things considered, that's actually pretty good. I would do it, but wifey knows me pretty damn well. She said, let's be honest. She's like, just with the autographs you got right now on your belt, like the more signatures you get on that, the more valuable that belt becomes. Like, she's like, I don't see you mailing that belt off, like, as paranoid as you are, shit in the mail. Like, you ain't mailing that off. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's like, it's staying within my eyesight, my line of sight the entire fucking time. Yeah, you see, even Did Be Pete, even he's giving love to that new Garfield show. He's like, it's CGI Garfield show. Good shit, no lies. Yeah, y'all gotta check it out. I think that'd be a fun challenge. Those of you that's maybe able to check out an episode or two today, because I know we're going to be coming right back with wrestling with the topics. If you end up checking out an episode, let me know during the show later tonight. How'd you all enjoy it, or next time I'm on? And yeah, $149 for Shawn Michaels. Yeah, got a nice selection of pictures too. The pictures are definitely pretty affordable. I think the pictures were maybe, autograph pictures were maybe $80. I'm not too sure about that, but he has some damn good prices. He has some damn good prices. If it was a case where I could get the belt signed in person, I definitely would be on top of that. Real quick, AEW news for you guys. I want to share this with you all because I was curious. We talked about this last show. AEW Battle of the Belts 3 had drew its lowest numbers for the series to date. Apparently, they did 437,000. That's down from the previous Battle of the Belts edition, which did 527,000. And then you got to go back to the one before that, the January 2022 edition. That one did 704,000. I had talked about in my written up review for Rampage this past weekend how I would love to see more Battle of the Belt specials. I would even mind loving to see it be extended. The thing is, what's the ratings going to say? And here we go. The numbers just continue to. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second, right? And I think we'll go ahead and we'll end it on this note. But just stop and think about that for a second, right? We got all these fans, these hardcore AEW fans. AEW can do no wrong. AEW, fuck this promotion. But seriously, if everything is going kosher, okay, you're doing these specials quarterly now. Quarterly. You go from 704,000 to 527,000. And then you go from 527,000 to 437,000. So just stop and think about that for a second. So on the one hand, you lost over 200,000 viewers going into your second special. And then you lost over 100,000 viewers for this past weekend special. Where's all the viewers going? Where's that viewership going? What's going on? Look, I want AEW to succeed. Lord knows I do. I wanted to get to a point where they can branch off. They could do these other shows and, right? I do. But when you got this type of slope, when you got the type of slope that you have going on with Rampage, where the numbers are just continuing to, okay, you got yourself a problem. And if that problem isn't addressed pretty soon, you're pretty much going to have a scenario where you're going to end up being in Impact Wrestling territory. That's the God's honest truth. And we all know them Impact numbers, them ain't nothing to really be talking about, right? I mean, on the one hand, because I know some of you guys are like, well, what time did the special come on? Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Prime time. You can't really go wrong in that time slot, right? You can't go wrong. Hour, you're in and out. You can't go wrong with that. Yeah, most people are home around that time. Maybe they're starting to get themselves ready for going out to the bar, club, hang out with friends or whatever, but that's still a pretty damn good time. Now, what I'm most curious about, and maybe we'll find out a little bit later, if that 437, if that also includes on demand, DVR, and I'm very, very curious. I'm very curious. I don't know if you have time for this question, but what do you think about the fact that AEW is having the world champion face somebody who won a battle royal involving another company and expecting to keep up with all the extra? So you're talking about Mance Warner taking on Moxley. I'm a fan of Mance Warner too. I love Mance Warner. I totally have forgot that Mance Warner had won that bunkhouse. I did not know that because he won that bunkhouse, that won him the opportunity to face the AEW interim world champion. I did not know that because when I was watching the Ric Flair special with everybody else, none of us had picked up on that, which is very weird. So either that says to you that the information wasn't relayed that well to viewers, or we just didn't give a fuck. For me, I didn't get that. All I thought was, okay, so we're doing this battle royal, but what's the purpose? What's the incentive? And I remember asking in the chat, I said, what is the fucking incentive for doing this battle royal match. And somebody said, you just get this cool little Texas looking belt buckle trophy. I'm like, you serious? Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was actually taking down notes. I had no idea that. So, first of all, AEW, they messed up with the storytelling, because the minute that it was established this guy won the right, AEW should have been doing a full court press blitz on social media like a mofo, hyping up the fact that this guy has won the right to face the AEW World Champion and Jon Moxley. They should have been hyping it up. There should have been some type of a video package put together, let you know who Mance Warner was, leading up to that match. The whole 9 yards. Why you should give a fuck. I talked about this, and for anybody that didn't read it, go back and check out my AEW. Go back and check out my AEW review for it, because, matter of fact, give me a second here. Because what was that? They did that on Rampage, did they not? They did it on this past Friday's Rampage. Hang on here. It's either Rampage or Battle of the Belts. I'm trying to remember. Hang on here. I'm looking in my notes right now. Yeah, it wasn't Battle of the Belts. So it would have been last Friday's Rampage. So give me Rampage here. I'm just trying to get the link for you guys so you all can read it. Hang on here. Yep, Rampage. All right, so you don't have to read all of this, but I would encourage you guys to go down to the bottom to see my overall 4-on-1 takeaway for that Friday's Rampage episode. And I talked at great length about, this is continuing to be a problem for Tony Khan and crew as far as bringing in these new guys. And we're supposed to give a fuck. I even made the same argument for Madison Rayne. It's like, okay, that's great that you, me, we know about Madison, but your typical wrestling fan is not. And then also to the point, you're like, wait a minute, we're inserting these people, into the program and all that. And at the same time, you're talking about this whole ranking system, which by now, if it already hasn't been established that your ranking system isn't a joke, definitely after what you did this past week with Rampage, your ranking system is a fucking joke. So you have somebody win a battle royale. Never mind what's going on with your ranking system in AEW. You have somebody win a fucking Rumble match to face your world champion. You have a girl in Madison Rayne, love her to the moon, but you have her appear in her very first match, get a dub, and now she's got a world championship match. Meanwhile, Jade Cargill has been mixing it up with Athena and Chris Statlander, and we're just going to put that to the side, and it just comes off so fucking bipolar. It makes no sense. It feels like this. It feels like this. You're waiting in line to get into a club. You've been waiting in that line for over an hour. And then some hack just comes up, does a head nod to the bouncer, and is able to get in there. And you're like, do they work here or something? Nah. Well, how come you let them in there? They come here all the time. You're getting like some weak ass answer. You're like, it just doesn't justify it, right? It just does not justify it. That's literally how the booking is sometimes with AEW. It's very fucking head scratching. It really, really is. And yes, QT Marshall still exists. Let's see. Last round. Well, that's a great compliment. Thank you, Daniel. Somebody said, great show. I always try to tune into your show. And Stevie Ray's. Wow, that's some damn good company. You got me in there with Stevie Ray. I like that. Can you dig that, sucker? I like that. Appreciate that. Let's see. Anything else we need to get into? I'm just checking real quick here. Oh, by the way, 9 matches have been announced for tonight's AEW Dark. I know most of you guys tune into Dark for the commentary. Here's your card, though, for those of you that care about the matches. And if you're like me, you watch the matches while your TV's on mute. Anna Jay faces Megan Myers. Anthony Henry against Orange Cassidy. Isaiah Bronner, James Alexander, Braden Lee, and Sam Moore go up against Private Party, Butcher, Blade. Rohit Raju teams up with Ben Jones to face the Best Friends. Heather Reckless and Jocelyn Navarro go up against Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose. Meanwhile, Ruby Soho, Athena, and Sheena, I said Sheeta, team up to face the trio of Serena Deeb, Leva Bates, Emi Sakura. Dark Order's Evil Uno and 10 go up against Wingman's Peter Avalon and JD Drake. Sierra goes up against Chris Statlander. And for you Sonny Kiss fans, Sonny Kiss, Zach Clayton, and Xavier Walker go up against the Trust Busters, Arya Davari, Parker Bordeaux. In case you had missed it, Parker Bordeaux did his AEW debut, it feels like about maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe almost a month ago. So for the time being, they've been having him do his thing over on the YouTube shows there. But yeah, Arya Davari, Parker Bordeaux, Harlan. You guys know him better as Harlan when he was in NXT. And Slim J. And that's your card for AEW Dark. Actually looks like a pretty good card. I think I might actually, later tonight, comes on at 7. Yeah, I think later on tonight I might actually pop my head on the YouTube stream. And I think I might actually watch some of the action. If you guys are around, maybe we can do like a little Discord hangout in the Village Business channel and talk some shit now. Because you know how it is. Once you're in the YouTube channel and you're trying to enter the chat room, you can forget about talking to people because that shit just goes so goddamn fast. It's not even funny. So I don't know. Maybe I'll load that up later and we can all watch that together because there's actually some pretty good matches I wouldn't mind actually seeing. That's on here for what it's worth. So, other than that, I think we did good. Let me just one more time. I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions here. QT gas station. My father-in-law, every time we go past the gas station Sheets, he goes, "Yeah, that's definitely what I had did when I had went to Sheets. I had to go take a shit." I love him. I fucking love my father-in-law. He's cool, man. He's fucking cool. He's kind of like James Gardner from the Rockford Files, mixed in with Jerry Lewis, the comedian I'm talking about, mixed in with a little bit of I think that's it. I think that's the right fucking combination. I think that's the right combination. He's yeah, I'm thinking of one more, but no, I think I'll stop right there because if I put one more in there, that's just gonna be too much. Yeah, he's pretty fucking cool, man. Little John Wayne too. I'll give him credit. He's got a little bit of John Wayne in him too, because he's kind of old school like that. God, get him talking on John Wayne. He can tell you anything John Wayne wise. All right, so we did a nice deluxe episode. This definitely makes up for Monday night. Now remember, next Monday I'm not going to be doing a show. We're going to be doing a post show talking about the series finale of Better Call Saul. FYI for you guys. So I don't know. You guys are definitely more than welcome to tune in, especially if you plan on watching the series finale. Otherwise, yeah. So programming notes, back with you guys tonight, wrestling with the topics. We're not going to go as long since we just did this. We're not going to go as long. We'll probably do about maybe probably 90 minutes max. So that'll be fun. Loads we'll get into on that show, including thoughts on the Batgirl movie getting canceled, Urza Miller making the headlines yet again. I'll give you guys my thoughts on the new Sandman series from Netflix. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little football as well. So that'll be a nice, fun, rounded show. So join me and Tams for that. That'll be good. And in the meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe, man. Show that ultimate love. And go subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's nice, man. Daniel said checks us out in Stevie Ray's show. That's damn good. Bitch, that's damn good company, right? I'm doing my Samuel Jackson joint. How's it taste, motherfucker? But yeah, that's some damn good ass company. I like that. I like that. That's the greatest compliment, right? Last time somebody gave me a nice good compliment like that, somebody had said, I check you out. I check out Cornette. I check out Solomon. I go, God damn. I guess you don't really need nobody else, huh? But let me do some shameless plugging. If you like me, check out my other friends. Make sure you check out Wrestling Soup, Mish, Kev Castle, Joy Numbers. Make sure you show them love. Check them out. Join the fucking Discord, too. There's always a show going on in the Discord. Can't stress that enough. Somebody's always doing something, whether it's me, Soup, like somebody's always doing something. So check it out. Always good chat with everybody too in the Discord as well. Some really cool people in the Discord. So yeah, that's gonna do it. Until next go around, wish all y'all be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go around. Take care.